Augie, welcome to our interview today with Golf Business Technology, and I'd like to fire off and give you the first question. Very simply, I mean, I wanted to see if you could sort of give us a background about Pizza Golf, its origins, your backstory, and what your offering is. People know you, but I was wondering if you could just give us a bit of a background about yourself and sort of give us sort of your ethos as a golf architect as well.
Of course, Abu. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I mean, we've been looking to have this. We were looking forward to this since some while ago. So it's great that we coincide. And yes, I mean, and as you mentioned, well, some people know us, but some people don't. So it's great to have this opportunity with your platform to talk a little bit about golf architecture and Pisa Golf. My name is Agustin Pisa. My friends call me Augie, so we started. I started personally in the industry in golf architecture 25 years ago. Since 2006, I have my own practice, which is Pisa Golf. You can find us on Instagram on all PIZA Golf on all social platforms if you love golf architecture and a little bit of storytelling. And we've been creating, different. I would like to say different golf courses for different people. We like to be a little bit more on the innovative side, on the even on technology. We have our one of our golf courses. The pit is in the Oculus on the Oculus Quest in the Golf Plus app.
Great.
So we like to think that we've been doing this part of our creative side where we like to do things a little bit different. I mean, obviously within the framework of true golf architecture, but within that, it's always important for us or for me to have critical thinking in regards to that. So we've been around or I've been around for 25 years in the industry. My firm since 2006, and we've had the privilege of working on some projects that were designed by Jack Nicklaus signature, by Gary Player signature, by Tom Fazio, by Robert Bonhage, and on different special places like Palmilla in Cabo in Mexico, Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. And our main office is in Mexico, in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We've been involved in, I think now it's a little bit over 90 projects in different stages. Though sometimes you're in the conceptual stage, sometimes in the building or the project management or in the consultant, and some stay on paper and they're never built because of different reasons. So that's more or less where we're at. We just opened an office in San Diego. We're very happy about that because we're very, very keen on the U.S. market and all of the Americas. To be honest, that's my main market. We have worked in Europe. I'm a member of both European Institute of Golf Course Architects and the American Society of Golf Course Architects, and there's only a handful of architects that belong to both sides. So I'm very proud about that. And it's a great camaraderie. I think the golf industry, the golf architecture industry is a special one. And I feel special to be a part of that.
That's great. That's great. Thanks for giving us all that information, Augie. And one thing I've got to ask is, I mean, as a young person in Mexico, what made you think, designing golf courses? I mean, how did you decide that?
Yeah.
Were you into golf? Did you play a lot as well as a youngster?
I guess I was pretty naive, Abu. Ignorance is a bliss. If I know now, if I knew then what I knew now, I'd probably never pursue golf architecture. I would just stay in construction and be a good Mexican.
Yeah.
So
very good.
So yeah, I mean, I really I'm a passionate I'm an architect by trade. I studied regular building architecture. So I have a 5-year degree in architecture. And I wanted to ask you a question. Yes, I played golf, but I wasn't an avid golfer growing up.
Yeah.
I preferred contact sports. I
Mhm.
preferred American football, basketball, tennis,
Mhm.
or other sports that made me sweat a little bit more. No, when you're a
Yeah.
kid, you want to be in the
Yeah.
mud and you want to tackle people and you want to. So that was my thing, and I did play competitive sports all my life,
Great.
all the
Yeah.
way up to university.
Yeah.
So with my passions for sports, I wanted to mix or to find a career that mixed architecture with sports.
Mhm.
And so golf, when I discovered golf architecture, or it discovered me, that was the uh, the 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 epitome of my of joining, having the opportunity to join my two passions through golf design.
Mhm.
Is I'm living, a dream
Living
come
the
true.
living the dream.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
imagine just joining two passions, and in one line. It's really special, to say the least.
Okay.
And so that's to answer that side of the question. And yes, from when I graduated from architecture, I was what, like 20, 23, 24, and I started to work in the golf industry. Then I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't play American football. I couldn't play anything
Yeah.
competitively. So I started. I really picked up golf. So
Yeah.
I can say that I've been an avid golfer since that age. And
Okay.
when I did grow up in Tijuana Country Club,
Uh-huh.
but like I said, I was just doing everything.
Okay.
Every
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, it's great to hear about that backstory. My next question, I'm going into the recent projects you've worked on and what they entailed, but I'm interested in two projects that you've done recently, actually. I'll go with the first one, the butterfly golf concept and surrounding sustainability. I mean, sustainability buzzword, everybody's using it in golf, from and with golf design and golf courses, but I want to hear more about this. What does this entail? But the butterfly golf concept, where did you come up with it, and what is it? What does it entail exactly? Could you give us a bit more? And what's the connection with sustainability as well?
Yeah, well, I can't tell you where I came up with it, because sometimes I find inspiration in the most weird places. but but I can share with you that angle, of course. And thanks for asking. We
Mhm.
like to think of ourselves as, as innovators, as visionaries, and we've been very lucky to have been mentioned in several magazines that way. Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I always like to give our projects a twist. I mean, if I'm designing an academy, I'm not going to call it an academy. I'm going to give it its own soul. It has to
Mhm.
have a heartbeat. It has to have a name. It has to have a concept. It has to
Mhm.
have a why. Yes.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
the justification of what we're creating is one of the most important things, Abu, is to understand the why. And whatever you design, it needs soul. Yes.
Mhm.
So that's why we come up with multi-purpose golf, with butterfly golf, with
Mhm.
wellness golf,
Mhm.
with golf lounge, with all of these concepts that give meaning to what we're doing.
Yeah.
It gives it a heartbeat. It gives the project life. It gives it an identity. So
Mhm.
that's the first background that we create at Pisa Golf. Now from there, of course, every project is unique. So we want to give it that uniqueness. We want to give it that special shelf, and
Mhm.
it's not just, let's say, an academy. Which, fair enough. That's the generic name. Oh, it's normal. It's like a driving range, an academy, a golf
Mhm.
course.
Mhm.
But we don't. Yes, but no. We
Yeah.
we like to think that we design something with life, an experience. It's not about golf. It's about the golf experience. Yes.
Yeah.
So with that said, we do have sustainability in mind, and let's put it into perspective, Abu. Sustainability is about three things. It's the economic, the social, the economic, and the ecological. So
Mhm.
let's not lose sight of the bottom three. Okay, the bottom line. It is,
Mhm.
this is sustainability. Yes.
Mhm.
Don't take it all just exclusively to the ecological side. we need to think about, we love the art in golf architecture, but we also understand the business. Yes.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we talk this with our clients. I mean, yes, we are artists, but we understand the business, and we're here to balance the sustainability. So with that said, we come up with the butterfly golf has all this, because with 4 loops of 6, we created this butterfly body, or a 4-leaf clover, with 4 loops of 6, where you only need 3. You will always have, you can have 24 permutations. So if you play this, and this, A, B, and C, then A, B, and D, and then A, D, and B, and then A, D, and C, you have 24 ways of playing that golf course. So in 24 days that you're in that resort, you will never play the same layout. And that is something going back to the sustainability part, Abu. When we designed this, and it was created in Mexico in our project in Desertica, now we've been very lucky that we're getting calls from other places in the world to create butterfly golf, because it has clicked on clients where why in 500 years nobody thought about this? What's going on? So we're really happy about this creation, this idea, this innovation, because with 6 more holes, you have 24 different golf courses, or 24 different layouts, which this would, typically on a golf development, you would have 36 holes, 2 of 18, or 27. So with 24, you have 24 different golf courses, which is beautiful. And that is a little bit of, more is less attitude. Remember the less is more from Mies van der Rohe? Now we kind of like flip the switch, and it's like more is less. With 6 more holes, you don't have to create 27 holes, or 36, or 72, whatever you want. You don't have to do that in specific markets. You can keep the butterfly golf and have all these variations. Besides the fact that people are out there wanting to play 6 holes like no other era in golf, or 12. My friend Brandel Chambly has a great quote. 6 is the new 9, and 12 is the new 18. And the 18-hole golf courses are out there to play as well and enjoy. And of course, the butterfly has 24 18-hole golf courses. So we believe in that, and it's a little bit more about, with less resources, you have more fun. Yes.
Yeah. Well, something for everybody. Something for everybody at the end of the day, and I think it's you're right. It's I think what you're going at it from the sustainability angle, but you're also bringing new people into the game as well. Being inclusive like that. As you said, there are people out there that just don't have time. Sometimes they want to go out and play 6 holes or 12 holes or whatever it is, and I think you cater for that quite well. And the butterfly golf concept is very interesting. I think it's definitely something that a lot of golf clubs will be taking up in the future, I reckon. But one other thing. Sorry,
I'll tell you something real quick, Abu. If my client has the space, I will. I would never design another 18-hole golf club for my client. It would always be 24. It would always be a butterfly golf.
Yeah. I think that concept's going to take off, I reckon. And here's hoping. But the other you mentioned earlier in our conversation here, the other collaboration that you had was with Golf Plus, and we cover, obviously, that's something that we cover quite a lot, and the technology, but we cover the business side of golf as well, and that whole VR side of things is very interesting, and I just wanted to briefly just to explain a bit more about that, about that work that you've done in VR on that VR project, and also the with the 150th Open Championship at St Andrews. How did that all come about? And just give us sort of a bit more information about that.
I think it's all it's all about being at the right frequency, Sabu. If
Hmm.
well, I'm a firm believer in that. I'm it's all about being the right frequency. When you're in the right frequency and you do things for the correct reasons, uh, things fall into place. Yes,
Yeah.
you meet the correct people. You meet the people that surrounds you are in your same frequency. They're in your same sensibility. They're in
Hmm.
the same atmosphere or ideas of doing things for the correct reasons that we spoke about. Doing things to better the game, to grow the game, and yes, it's business, but it's not about the business. It's about the legacy. It's about creating something and putting a stepping stone for somebody else
Hmm.
that's uh, uh, you know more creative or more intelligent or more whatever factor is to grab
Hmm.
it and even
Hmm.
make it better. Yes.
Hmm.
So all of these things are come into place, and with that said, when you're in that frequency, you know I I had the opportunity to meet Ryan and and golf everybody at Golf Plus, which they are fantastic gentlemen. In that same frequency of, oh, let's do something cool, let's do this. We saw the pit. They we when we were chatting away, they were, oh, we saw the pit. We need that in our VR. Can we have it in for our VR? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course, yeah, let's do it. I would love to be a part of VR because I'm always also thinking of innovation and doing something cool and something different. So
Yeah.
for for that conversation to begin in the first place, you have to be at the right place at the right time. And that and it plays. It's a some people call it luck, you know.
Mm, mm.
so 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 you're out there and you're having these conversations, and all of a sudden there's you get two people or two groups wanting to do things. Was
Mm.
guess what's going to happen? Things are going to be done. So we started evaluating and checking and making plans, especially for for the VR version in Golf Plus app.
Mhm.
uh, if 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 you don't have the Golf Plus app on your Oculus Quest, the Metas, they're fantastic. It's a
Yeah.
fantastic application. So we
Mhm.
work very closely with Harris Kalinka,
Mhm.
and that's for their virtual world in regards to rendering and all our, I like to
Yeah.
call them digital models, no, our maquettes, our digital maquettes.
Mm.
So we we were talking we do that a lot, so for years, yes, and that's the common thing to do, but they're very good at it. So
Mhm.
when we saw the pit and with Ryan Engel from Golf Plus, we started to create a special grid for his program, and
Mhm.
now you can play it. You can the pit's right there at the driving range. You can play it, and you mentioned the 150th Open, which was,
Mhm.
there was a line of whatever thousands of people by the end of the week,
Mhm.
or kids, children lining up to play in the Fan Fest. There was all the Oculus Quest. The kids were playing it. The adults were playing it. They didn't know they were playing the pit. Of course, but they were experimenting something different than just being out there in golf. And up in Scotland, sometimes it gets cold and gusty and everything. Having some Oculus Quest, man, that's great to get that edge off, and play some golf. So we're very
Yeah. Yeah.
happy and grateful about that, and how it happened. And right now, we're working on a very interesting project, probably the most interesting project in
Mhm.
regards to technology and innovation, and the visionary side. We can't disclose it yet, Abu, but if we
Mhm.
come back on early next year or late this year, I'm sure that we can talk about this, the
Great.
next step of innovation that we
Yeah.
are lucky to be a
Yeah.
part of.
That's great. That's great. Well, I will look forward to hearing more about that in the coming future. But the next thing that I look and thanks for obviously going into the VR side of things. I think that's absolutely fantastic. What you did there with Golf Plus, and but I mean, from your point of view, I mean, what trends are you seeing in the golf industry and course design right now, and how do you think these will evolve going forward? Do you think there's something different happening at the moment?
Yes,
with
I
the
think
trends?
that, you know, I really like where golf architecture is going right now.
Hmm.
I think we can relate to 100 years back, 130 years back, with the golden age of architecture.
Hmm.
I think we've with the Gil Hanse and the Tom Dokes and David McClay kids and Court Crenshaw. There's a group a group of of individuals of talents that are doing just fantastic and phenomenal architecture
Hmm.
work. But not only that, they're helping to push that proper architecture
Hmm.
structure to golf development through the golf experience.
Yeah.
I would like to think that we're in that in that circle, yes,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, or we're working our way to get
Hmm.
into that recognition.
Hmm.
Now that is something that's gone back, and it's like, hey, we did this very well in the past. I think we can do it now. That's a big trend that's happening. They kind of like going back to the golf era, the golden age era,
Hmm.
um, and clients are starting to understand that proper architecture is the way to go. Yes, it's where you have different factors, where you have sustainability, is where you have the business side of it, is where you have the perfect balance between the experience,
Hmm.
nature, and the development side. Yes, so I think that that's a very nice trend that's happening.
Hmm.
Personally, I, um, I I love the golden age of architecture. I think it's a great school. I think it's the
Hmm.
best school to date in the golf industry. But I don't. I'm a firm believer, or I'd like to think that maybe we haven't discovered. For the majority, that's the the best artistic expression of golf architecture. I
Hmm.
like to believe that we haven't yet discovered it. So
Hmm.
I'm pursuing, or trying to pursue that next expression of golf. What
Yeah.
can we do without failing? Of course, that's the trick. That's the
Hmm.
tricky part.
Hmm.
What can you do
Hmm.
to? I like to think, what would Alistair McKenzie, you know, uh, Harry Colt, Tilly, what would they have done today?
Hmm.
I don't know if they would be designing like the old ways, that what they did 100 years ago. Maybe yes, maybe not. So that's the question that I like to ask myself every single time that I'm out there on a golf site. What
Hmm.
would we do with what we have now and what we know now? So I always question myself. Critical thinking for me is very important, and that's basically it. So those are the trends, um, and I love them. I like them. They're fantastic. Of course, that's where I base myself, but trying to discover new things.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Great. Well, as you said, it's always evolving. Ideas are always evolving. And as with any other industry, I think golf architecture is always evolving as well. And it's great that you're able to sort of ask the questions as well internally to see where best to go in the future as well. But this is a question where you probably answered a lot of this anyway. So you wake up in the morning. What's the driving passion?
Well, waking up. that's that's number
That's
one.
it. Yeah,
Like, oh, okay, here
yeah,
I am.
yeah. Great.
Cool.
Life.
Yeah. So it's funny you asked that, Tabu. But yes, on
Yeah.
a spiritual level, I'm always grateful for waking up. So
Okay.
that's the first bit. That's my
Yeah.
first drive of the day. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I get to do this again. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
I'm up there.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, where's my sketchbook? Where's this? What
Yeah.
do I have there? Oh my God, I forgot to do this. Oh man, all of that drive is important in the morning, and
Hmm.
and and that's the first thing that if I have to answer your question, that's the first thing when I wake up. I'm very grateful of doing it, and looking forward to the day.
Yeah.
So the number one thing, of course, I mean, it's my passion for my professional life and my personal life. I'm very, very lucky to be passionate about both things, and both things I can't get enough, both things I love, both things I look forward to, and that's basically it.
Okay, great answer. The next question, and we have to go to this, but with the pandemic, over for a while now, what was the impact on your business, and how did you address it? Was there a specific impact that affected you?
Well, of course there was, but we didn't know what was going on. There was a time where we were all blind and we were all kind of like, clueless, scared, everything. Yes.
Yeah.
And at that point, what we did was, obviously we followed all the suggestions. We closed down our office for I think it was 3 months. Then we came back. Everybody had their space separated. We did all the things that we were told to do, and it was great. I mean, we were very lucky that we had a couple of ongoing projects that they, a couple of projects stopped, but then a couple of projects came in. That was when that was all in the window of the first stage of the pandemic. So we really didn't suffer in that regards. I'm a firm believer also in keeping and taking care of your guys or your staff. So I never we never lost anybody in regards to let's take a break, you're not going to be paid. No, I didn't lower wages. I took the storm like I thought that I should, because everybody's suffering. So if I think that's the first thing to do, is take care of your people and COVID them. So that's what I did. And that takes a little bit of sacrifice, but it's important to have, and it's a great feeling at the end when everything went perfect. And that's on that side. On the business side, that downtime, I wasn't going to stay put. That's where you have to, or at least in my book, where you have to move and think and see what's next and check out opportunities. And in that time that where things were going a little bit slower or in a different rhythm, I didn't have to travel that much. So I stayed more time with the family. So I played more golf. So it was a great thing to have. And I also took the time to do all my due diligence to open up our office in San Diego. So that was like a year and a half of preparation, business plan, the appropriate, documentation work, etc., to do everything by the book. Boom, boom, boom. Step 1, step 2, all the way to step 25 or whatever it was. That's the time that I took action. And since a year ago, we've been we have an office in San Diego, which we're very happy, because San Diego, number one, is one of my favorite cities in the world. I grew up a couple of blocks down south in Tijuana, so it's very nice to have this dual office. One, my main office in Puerto Vallarta, a satellite office in San Diego, and just having fun trying to get new projects. So that's where we're at.
Great. Well, this probably leads up onto the next question. Actually, in terms of customer feedback, what specific role does it play? And organizations, they routinely tout the importance of customer service as well. I want to see what your approach is to that in terms of customer feedback and customer service, and how does it all play into, your company and your role as a business as well?
So
How does that feature for you?
that's interesting, Abu. I mean, it's customer service is the main thing, but it's something that you have or you don't. You know, when you're out there, we're very fortunate that over the past 10 years or our clients become our friends. That is something very special, and it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And it's a trend that we work on, and it's something, I tell my clients, I don't want you to call me except for when you're for inviting me to a party for your birthday at some point. So that makes I have to make sure that the what I deliver, what my firm delivers, is top notch, top quality, because I don't want my clients to call me. I don't like those calls. I don't like my clients to call me, but to invite us to their parties. That's part of our
It's a
design
great
philosophy, part of
philosophy.
our design work. Yes, I mean, no
Yeah.
calls from any clients, saying this, saying that. Hey, you didn't do this, you didn't know. We always, I like to think that we overachieve. We I think we can say we underpromise and overachieve, and
Yeah.
which is better than the other way around. But
Okay.
but
Okay.
those are little things that we take care of. On a serious note, of where those are things that we really take care of, of that personalized attention. Every golf project, every project is our own baby. We take it as our own. We understand the business. We take care of the client. We take him by the hand, and I tell them this: I'm going to take you by the hand, and I'm going to go through this with you. I got you. So those are the things that create a very special bond with our clients.
Mm.
Um, and that's what we do. That's the number one thing in our design philosophy, is this
Mm.
attention to detail, attention to
Mm.
service. What
Mhm.
can we do extra? uh, you're not going to struggle with us. We're going to be, we're like, I'm Mexican, man. It's just like having a Mexican in anywhere in the fields or in the kitchen or anywhere. They're going to work their butt off. Well, that's me, but in golf architecture.
Very good. Great answer.
It's the same. It's the same upbringing. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. We're gonna be there, and
Grafting. Yeah.
and
Very
doing
good.
whatever we need to do to get our project to be the best it can be.
That's brilliant. Great answer. Um, the next thing, very a bit of an easy one here. So, the best advice you've ever received. What was it, and who was it from?
Oh, I've I've received a lot. I received a lot. You're really gonna make me think on this one, because it's not only what we have received, but what we have, what you learn in books and reading, and
Mhm.
or simply paying attention, and it's like own own your own sayings, yes, your
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
advice back
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to think I'm gonna give you one
Yeah.
that is special for me, and it changed a lot, from a client, um, now friend, of course.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it was probably like 14 years ago, or yeah, 13, 14 years ago,
Uh-huh.
where he said something that really caught my attention, and I lived with it for that rest of my life, which is, half of Augie, remember that half of your salary is the way you are treated. So it really got to me. I'm like, wow, you're right. And that changed a lot in my design and service philosophy. if
Mhm.
i if I do not have chemistry with a client, I either don't do it, or I charge him 3 times more. He's going to have to pay for being an a for being a, you know
Yep.
este,
Choice words.
he's going to have to pay for him to be the way that he is. Yes, if
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
different
yeah,
personality and he yells and or he has a problem with his ego or whatever it is,
yeah,
then I'm going to charge you 3 times more. And most likely I'm not going to get the job, obviously. So that's the strategy behind it. So I do not work with clients that I have no chemistry with. I
yeah.
prefer to not if I'm gonna be with this type of people or person
Hmm.
for a couple of years, I definitely prefer not to. Yes, it is an economic sacrifice,
Hmm.
but it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to live by. It is
Yeah.
life is too short, and I don't need to be with people that I don't like.
Okay. Well, you got morals, and that's a very good thing. So, yeah, that's some great advice. That's some great advice that you got there from your colleague. But so we'll try and wrap up now. And I know I've kept you on for quite a long time here. So
That's great.
uh, I'm going to merge two questions together and then finish off with our last question. So, uh, what are the biggest challenges facing Pizza Golf, and what are your plans for the future in terms of growth? And I guess you sort of covered that in your last one. You know, you obviously are very not picky about who you work with, but you like to have a connection and with someone that you work with. But in terms of what you can see in the future, what are the biggest challenges facing you? And um, is there a plan for growth, in terms
There's
of other
always,
things?
yeah, I mean, there's always a plan for growth.
Yeah.
I don't, it doesn't, it's not on my immediate radar. Uh, I visualize myself and our company and our firm
Mhm.
doing uh, uh, very distinct projects, not necessarily the biggest one, not necessarily the most famous one, but just distinct
Yeah.
projects. I like to think
Good.
of ourselves kind of like you know, the band Sparks. I don't know if you know it,
Yeah, rings a
but
bell.
look it up. Look it
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
great documentary of Sparks. So they're
yeah,
kind of like very fantastic musicians that they just believed in what they did. So they're not like super famous, but they are famous, but they're kind of like a cult famous. So I
yeah,
prefer to have that twist in our name, kind of like a discoverable firm that it's like, holy moly, where did these guys come from, or who are
yeah,
these
yeah,
guys? Look at this, look at that. Wow, look, oh Jesus, what is going on? That is what I'm looking for. And I prefer that
okay,
100 times. That fills up the soul of it.
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
The
brilliant.
easy
Yeah,
would be, oh yes, I have this business plan that we're going to grow and we're going to do millions and millions. And no, I mean,
yeah,
ho- hopefully that could come and great. But
yeah,
when you believe in what you do, whatever the
yeah,
skill set is of whatever the skill set is, you believe in what you do and do it for the correct reasons and keep on following that line, money will come, growth will come. So that's what I believe in. I believe in enjoying the process. So if I'm, I don't know if you read the book, the monk that sold his Ferrari, no? So if you're
yeah,
with one eye in the prize or in the final objective, and you're with one eye here, it's going to take you double the time to get there. But if you
yeah.
focus right here right now, it will you will
We'll
eventually
get
get
there.
there quicker and
Yeah.
faster because you're focused on the now. Yes. And
Okay.
that's something that I
Yeah.
love about the sport of golf, is all the similarities that it has with real life and real business and the real way of handling yourself on and off the golf course. So that's more or less what I would answer. Of course that doesn't mean that I'm sitting in the couch waiting for things to happen. I mean, every single day we're putting a seed, planting a seed, planting a seed, planting a seed, being more creative, being more this, being more that, questioning ourselves, doing this, doing that, getting up early, doing whatever we need to do. And And so that it's part of the work. It's part you have to grind it. There's no
Yeah, yeah,
shortcuts to success, Abu. There's no shortcuts to success.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so we're very
yeah.
happy doing it. The important thing is that we're enjoying the process. That is the most important thing. Where we're going to end up, we don't know, but we like to think that we're setting up ourselves to end up in a very special place in golf design history.
Okay, great, great. Well, I'll be keeping tabs on you and following Pizza Golf very closely in the future, and I'm sure we can have a
Thank you.
follow up at some point, maybe next year or so, and see
Love
where
to,
you're
yes.
at as well. So my last question. So I'm sure you've heard the news from the last few days, you know, and I'd like to get your take on not that, but where do you see the overall industry heading in the next 5 to 10 years? Not particularly with the golf design or golf architecture, but the industry as a whole. Where do you see it sort of heading to? It's an interesting one. After what has just happened, I think it took us all by surprise over the last few days. But
it has, of course.
Yeah,
And it's just like like a bucket of ice, and after a game, yeah, it's kind of like, whoa,
yeah.
whoa, what happened? What just happened?
What happened there? Yeah,
I'm not gonna get into that, Abu, because
yeah,
I'm a firm believer into not things that I do not control. I do
yeah,
not worry about.
yeah,
I can concentrate my energy on what I can control,
yeah.
and so what I can control is from my persona, from my level,
Mhm,
downwards or sideways. I cannot control anything from my level upwards or vertical. Yes, so
mhm.
there's nothing to do there. I just let's continue on what we're doing, and
Yeah, yeah,
keep banging the drum. Yeah, boom, 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 boom,
yeah,
boom, 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 boom.
yeah,
Let's go, let's go, let's go. So
yeah,
that's the first thing. That's how I would answer that bit.
yeah.
Now, there's something that to take positive as all of this is that golf is making the front page of the Wall Street Journal, and it's making the front page of I mean, that
Which
those
is
are
good
things
for
that have never
the game.
happened.
It's good for the
Exactly.
game.
So
Yeah,
there's a saying in architecture, in regular architecture, or in any creative mind, there's a
yeah,
saying where talk good or talk bad, but talk.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Talk about me good or talk about me bad, but talk. That is a very, very, you know, in, a, weird thing, but
Mhm.
it is true. I mean,
Yeah,
if I'm not making, if you're not talking about, let's come back to us again. If you're not critiquing our golf architecture or whatever we invent or do, either you don't like it, that's your opinion. You like it, that's your opinion. But if
mhm.
I'm not touching, your fibers, then it's not clicking. It's not doing anything. You're just dull. You're just
Mhm.
there doing dull things. So that's bringing it back to my side of my philosophy. But going back to what we were talking about, yes, I mean, hopefully with all of this catastrophe, disruption, call it what you may, uh hopefully the positive is like golf. Wait a minute, I mean, it's all over the place. It's been all over the place since pandemic. We've been very lucky
Yeah,
about that. So
yeah,
golf grew whatever 30-40% in some places during pandemic. Beautiful. Okay, we're just
yeah,
coming out of that, and now
yeah,
this. So it's been like golf, 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 golf for every eyeball, every ear around
yeah,
the world. I'm sure there's some Eskimos somewhere in the world reading about golf and what's happening, and they're like, they don't understand what's happening because they're not golfers, but they see the
yeah,
word golf, and that's
yeah.
important.
That's important. Yeah,
So
yeah. No, you're right.
hopefully
Absolutely right.
that
Yeah,
GOLF sticks in the minds of everybody out
everybody. Yeah, brilliant. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. It's not something we can control, but at the end of the day, we have to focus on what we do, and
Exactly. Just
hopefully,
save your energy.
yeah. And as you said, that golf is on people's minds now. So
Exactly.
Good for all of us. It's good for all of us, you know. So, but anyway, I think that's where we'll end off, Augie. And so glad and such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Be on our platform, and thanks for saving the time for us to have this interview today. And we look forward to seeing much more of you